Also important for the content team is some questions that they typically have pretty often too, as far as like what's working and what's not, and what direction content should go on, and if there's room for improvement for existing content based off of importance or intent, or like if the content is just thin or it's outdated or it just had poor optimization. So basically, it's like there's an acronym that I kind of coined for this, and I've written a lot about it, and I call it the RRRC method.
RRRC.
RRRC, it's not really memorable, triple RC. So it's basically, when it comes to looking at, and we haven't talked about these concepts yet, right?
No.
So when it comes to someone's like content strategies, it's mostly for a website that's existed for at least like a little while. It's not for new websites. It's for a website that's been around for a bit, probably have done, dozens of pages and a bunch of blogs, maybe like the blogs are in the hundreds. And basically just reevaluating what their content has done for them. And like, instead of just doing a content plan and being like, all right, well, you've been doing blogging for 8 years and you have 400 pages on the website, let's just add more content. It's like, okay, let's evaluate what you've done and where to go from here before we just start adding new content.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's 3 R's to C. So the R's are when you approach underperforming content, and I'll show you what we consider underperforming. You can either re-optimize it, you can redirect it, you can remove it, or the C is you can consolidate it. Okay, so the re-optimize is a situation where it's like an important page, like maybe it's a main practice area. It's like, yeah, this is a page, we wanted these cases, we put this page on the website like 4 years ago, but it has like 300 words on it, the titles don't even make sense, we didn't even do SEO. It's like, well, let's re-optimize it and see what happens. Redirect could be in a situation where it was like a piece of content that was timely at the time, and it was important maybe like 4 years ago. Maybe it was like an update to law, maybe it was like things you should know X, in 2016, and it might have some authority, maybe like a couple links, and instead of just like removing it, we can redirect it to the most appropriate next page. Maybe it was something that was like top 10 things in 2016. Now we have a top 10 things to do in 2021. We just redirect it. The next one is remove, where it's just like, this is just clearly just not a useful page and shouldn't really just be on the website anymore, and we just remove it. And then the consolidate is among the more interesting ones. That's when you typically have content that was made over time that's in the topic is just very, very similar, and one is performing better than the other, and it's just better to like remove the content from the underperforming one and add it to the one that's doing better, and just basically make it one bigger page. You have any questions so far?
Not yet, no.
All right, so I'm going to show you how we kind of generally take this approach. And like I said, it's typically better to do this for a newer client. We don't have Laura Law Firm's analytics yet, evidently. Maybe we do over time. That would have been actually a really good one. 1 second.
Yeah, I was actually looking for them today as well.
Yeah, that would have been appropriate because we just started and he has a lot of content.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask Jay. All right. Well, that's a shame because that's like a massive website. That would have been pretty ideal. King Law is probably a good example too, just because maybe it's not the best. We're only doing like family law, but let's just say, for example, we were going to do, we were doing all their practice areas, and they have, so basically we're trying to do by landing page, we're doing it by organic. So the best way well, there are a couple different ways. So like, yeah, well, let's just say hypothetically we're doing all practice areas. So there's different ways to approach this. The way I like doing it is acquisition, because I like to narrow it down by organic and then use a secondary dimension of landing page. So I'm going to acquisition, I'm going to overview, I'm going to organic search. And just adds up, this is one of the few times I'm actually recording. So if you want to take notes for everything, I'll be able to share this with you. So I like to do it by the year, past year. So I'm just doing that. And then, so these are all organic over the past year. Of course, this is really nice on their part. It's not entirely because of us. I'd love to take the credit for that, but they do a lot of blogging, but maybe some credit. And then see this primary other dimension in this case is landing page. So basically right now, and then if I do the amount of rows, let's just do 500. And basically I have a list in the past year of the 500 pages on the website that are getting organic traffic. Okay. So we'll notice that they're basically all blogs. And so this is great. So we can normally like work in here a little bit, but being that I'm going to make adjustments and delete and add things, I'm going to export this to Excel. I'll do a CSV. It's a little bit easier just to manage that. So I'm going to export this. Oh, here it is. Let me know if you can still see. The Excel when it pops up. Why does this take so long? Okay.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna clean this up a bit. Like I don't need to know like these metrics. I'm really only going to be focusing on, actually, before I do that, I'm only going to be focusing on like sessions, really. This is like a whole other thing. They didn't add any goals. We might as well just do average session too, just to look at a couple things, but let's just look at sessions. And yeah, so this is basically ordered, of course, descending order based off of how many visits. So I don't want to like typically pick an arbitrary number as like a threshold. Typically, it depends like on the website, being that, you know, the majority of them are below 10 visitors. I kind of want to start there just for the sake of like picking something. Like I'm not really concerned about anything that has like thousands or hundreds of views right now or visits. I just have to kind of essentially just have a starting point. So let's just, you know, if I pick like around the 30 mark, like 30 over the past year, basically I'm gonna have to work through 300 pages, which is quite a bit, but you know, we can kind of start there. So there's going to be like a bunch of things here that we can probably remove pretty quickly. I kind of want this. So the things that we can probably like, we're going to be removing crap like this. Like obviously these are just weird, like random kinds of data there. Like the preview true, or like those are visits of people that were like logged into the back end, like doing edits to the website kind of stuff. Like we don't really have to know about like testimonial pages. We don't have to know anything with like previews. So, you know, I'll probably, you know, I'd work through here and delete. We don't need to really have privacy policy. I don't really care about like about certain lawyers. There are some like Excel shortcuts that are pretty good. Like I think there's one that's like, if you find this and you find all, and then you highlight that, gosh, how do you do this one? And then you close it and you hit delete. Yeah, that deletes anything that has those like little characters in them, which is helpful. Same with like page. If anything says like page, it's probably not like super important. So you see I doing that and doing Control A, and then I'm closing this, and then I'm just hitting delete. That's one way to delete anything that has just like random characters that you don't need. you'll learn like a couple, like SEOs use Excel all the time, just to organize data and stuff like this. So anything with categories and all that kind of crap. So since right now we're not spending a ton of time optimizing blogs, that might be like one good way to kind of filter out like a lot of the potential work that we'll be doing. So while we're at it right now, I'll just do blog too. The reason that we're not really doing too much optimization of blogs is because they're not they're not as much of a priority of optimization. We're not expecting as much high intent traffic as we are for like pages. We can always revisit, we can always revisit blogs, but for now, just like it doesn't really fall into the scope of like anything to do for clients. That's something you do if you're like in-house. It's just a ridiculous amount of work. And we want to focus like on 30-60, like the 80-20 rule of, what's like definitely the most important stuff that we can be doing for our clients. So that being said, let's work with these, and we'll have like probably plenty to work with here. Like about their lawyers, again, we said that that's not as important. So we're already seeing that there are a couple opportunities for this RRRC. So we know that Asheville divorce lawyer is like an important page. Like this page was made to capture the keyword Asheville divorce lawyer, and for this to only get like 2 views or 2 visitors in the past year and then 1, for, obviously that needs to be considered there, because that's really low for clearly an important keyword to any law firm. We can look at some of these look like they're still blogs, but we know that this is going to be worth looking into. This is like an intent, Columbus family divorce lawyers. Maybe like a couple of these. We don't really have to look at like ebooks. This is important. This is adoption lawyer, South Carolina, collaborative divorce is a main practice area. These are like clearly important. They're going to be optimized for like high intent. Does this make sense so far?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just like kind of going through, like we know that these are optimized for like locations, like these are probably worth looking into, and then anything with like practice areas is clearly going to be pretty important. So basically it's like these pages get very minimal traffic, and these are main practice area pages. Their main PI page, their main social security disability, their main workers comp page gets 4 visitors a year, their main South Carolina family. So these are definitely like in line with where we would be focusing. All right, so that's kind of the first step. So once it's kind of organized, the first thing we notice here is like this Asheville divorce lawyer lawyers. This probably already falls under what we were talking about with the consolidation, because these are 2 pages that are probably extremely similar. So one thing that happened is that they didn't redirect this because it's still it was still like in the index, because it obviously showed up in analytics. Mm-hmm. And so we would still like, I don't know, it's still like not a good practice to have something that was crawled and obviously got traffic in the past year not to have a redirect. So I'd still probably want to do a redirect for that. Plus like a 404 error, this is like not a good response. So there could be multiple reasons that this doesn't rank well. I probably maybe like look at CertBook and probably just take a peek at where it's ranking so far. So quinoa. Asheville. Yeah, it's not getting a lot of traffic because it's far off. So what happened was they probably created an Asheville divorce lawyers page and then decided to like delete it and create this page, and it's something that we've been working on over time, but it's not close enough to really get traffic yet. So what we would do in this situation is we'd go through and we'd probably say that where's this Excel? So it'd be like, this is deleted, and so it's not a page any longer. And what we could do here is not highlight this in red. Jeez, why would it take this long? We could say that, we could do like, we can do it once through and see if, it has like the proper keyword, just doing like the typical like on-page optimization. That's what I would do for that one, being that this page doesn't exist anymore, and there's no reason for like a consolidation. We can take a look at like this page. Did that just redirect? That is a weird redirect. Why did it do that? Oh, that's a weird one. Oh, that's all my private information. Let's see. Can you see my notepad when I pull that up?
Yeah.
Okay. It's so weird. So that'd be something, interesting discussion for the content team, or sorry, the SEO team. It's like this criminal disputes subdirectory did exist, but now they've prepended a blog subdirectory to it. That's very interesting. Huh. That is an interesting one. I feel like this content like lived on the blog, and then someone shifted it, and then now it falls under blog. That's so odd. Huh. I don't really know what to think of that just yet. I wonder how much it's affecting stuff. So I deleted everything that said blog, right? Now we have to take, damn it. Now we have to take a step back. I got to put back all the blogs. Yeah, I have to put back all the blogs for a bit, because it's really interesting. No, it still doesn't. So this was getting basically minimal traffic before, and now since it shifted over to the blog subdirectory, it's got no traffic. But yet their overall traffic has been improving over time. I wonder how many pages shifted over,
Like
and then Google had to recrawl everything all over again. That's so weird. I'd have to think about that one a little bit more, but that's very, very interesting. Because it seems like a lot of content shifted over into falling under the blog over the past X amount of time that I can, definitely over the past year, because, this showed up as gain traffic actually. So we can look at analytics real quick. So what was it, like underage EWR or something like that? I didn't spell it exactly how they do it. All right, so let's just do underage. All right, underage demon. I mean, it was like that with that blog up until April 1st. That's so interesting. I wonder when it shifted over to falling under a blog and why. I don't know. I'll take note of that. It's probably worth like a follow-up. Yeah, I'm just curious to see like how many of these pages or have a blog plus like not a blog. I have to think about what the easiest way of doing that would be. Let's think. Well, it's time to get like really, really nifty with Excel for a second. All right. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to sort everything by blog. So we're going to take all these blogs. We'll put this here. Oh man, I need a second to think about how to do this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to split. I don't know if there's a best way to do this. I'm going to do text to columns. Not fixed. No, actually, it could be fixed width actually, because it can just fix the width to how long a blog is. All right, and then
That's cool.
yeah, and then I'm gonna grab this. Oh wait, yeah. Oh crap, I didn't even grab all the blogs. Oh, it's because this is annoying. Sorry, 1 second, because it's split in and grab all of them. I'm just really curious how many pages shifted over from being a blog and not being a blog, and how much it affected the traffic. Is why I'm doing this.
Okay.
It might not be for like worthwhile, but what's it? You know, we'll see if there's anything we can get from it. And then we'll do this. And those data. Fixed width. We'll do it up to there. And then what we're going to do is basically the rest of this. One second. These sessions always go off the rails, but that's what makes them SEO interesting sometimes. And then what we'll do is we'll highlight duplicate values. Oh, it's just because there's it leads with the / crap. One sec. We'll get this. It won't take that much longer. We'll just do another delineation, I guess. And then, well, this time we can just do the / Then can we do the data validation? Well, of course, that's going to be the same. I don't, okay. How come they don't have anything in common? Just announcement news. Oh, I know why. Because I delineated it by too many things. I just have to do what I did before. Okay. And hopefully we get something to work with now. Why go back and forth? I don't know, dude. Okay. All right. So we do have some of the duplicates. All right. So basically, these are all the ones that did get traffic before it switched over to blog. Are these ones? I didn't carry over like the traffic, which probably would have been ideal, but I don't know. It's probably something I can look into more, but it's just interesting that out of all of these blogs before and after, that there's only this many that actually had traffic prior to like the pre-pending of that blog URL. I don't know if that's helpful or useful, but it can be something to look into further and just see how it affected the traffic. But at least we know that we can do it.
So all
Anyway,
those ones that were highlighted had the similar case to that first one that you found.
yeah, they're basically all the blogs that had traffic before and after. They're all ones that switched over to blog and got traffic afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I might go through the process of doing it again. Basically, it's just like if actually let's look at one thing. So if we were to take this and then just drop it into analytics, we can see basically like what happened before and after. So so you see how that was one that was highlighted and see how they're both cases. Basically, it's like, okay, since it's prior to being on here, it had one visitor, and then since it switched over to blog, it had 4 more visitors. And so this is always the one that this is when it occurred. So it switched over. So something happened basically like around this point where everything switched over to blog. But since it switched over to blog, technically, technically, maybe it's performing better. Maybe it's just getting indexed better. Maybe it's just siloed better than where it is before. So basically, if I do this a few more times and I notice that like it was basically getting no traffic up to here, but then once it switched over here, it got more traffic. It's safe to say like whenever that transition happened, it was for the better for content on the website is the conclusion. Just like I would identify if it worked against it, I would say, hey, maybe it wasn't a great idea that it switched over. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So here's an instance. So it was getting minimal traffic, switch happened around here. Now it's getting more traffic. Now we can argue, well, now since it switched over to whatever the blog is, it's probably getting indexed better. And if we keep on doing this, we can kind of see every instance of it. This one didn't necessarily do better. This one's pretty much the same. What the heck? I might have clicked in too much. We'll just do one more. Yeah, and this one probably switched around here is doing like a little bit better. So before and after, we can just say that, okay, identify that there were, for some reason, a lot of pages that switched under to a blog. It's still interesting to know why that happened. But evidently it's been for the better, as far as.
And that happens just because like Google does that? Or
No, someone had to have done it on the website.
Okay, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, like someone manually was like these things now are restructured under a blog.
Okay.
So what happened before was probably like there was a blog here. So the best way to kind of look at that, so we can look at Wayback Machine. So we can be like, okay, what happened to these URLs before? So we know that this occurred probably sometime in April and May, just by looking at the history. So we can look at on the website back then, and we can go to the blog. So before, if you click on blog, it does the next subdirectory of blog. But if this is in February, I'm assuming that if I click on like civil disputes, it won't go blog and then civil disputes. It'll just go from blog to civil disputes. So it must have been prior to that. Unless there is a blog civil disputes, but then once you click on an article, you can already tell then the second you click on an article, just because this hub here that archives all the civil dispute stuff, what's going to happen is then I click on an article, then blog actually gets removed, and then civil disputes now takes over where the blog is. See? So that's actually one of the reasons it probably does index better, is because it is confusing for Google to be like, okay, you click through the website, you go to blog, then you click through more granular, you get civil disputes. And then if you click on an article that's below civil disputes, it'd go here. Why would you remove the blog part?
Yeah.
Right? Because you already like you're clicking, you're getting more specific down. So whoever reintroduced this blog subdirectory, technically it was probably supposed to be like that in the first place, because that's how it is structured. Like I did click blog, I did click civil disputes. It should click this article. It should be blog civil disputes, then the article.
Right.
So the second that this was reintroduced, then it's a best practice, and then you can see what the results are. That now these blogs seem to be performing better. So now we can see a correlation. So that's pretty interesting, I suppose. So so that's something, you know, that's like not exactly something we'll look at all the time, but worth checking out. So other ones that, you know, don't perform well, you know, if you ever got around to like blogs, you know, for a blog to just get one visitor annually is not ideal. So, you know, if we do look at a blog, what would be some of the reasons for this? It's just, it's not like a ton of content. It's really, really broad. It doesn't like pertain to like North Carolina or like a state, and really it's so, you know, it's really hard for something like this that's probably a popular topic to be able to compete, because you can like see the kinds of people talking about. You're talking about like huge organizations, and this keyword, I mean, for them, who even knows where it ranks? I mean, if we want to see potentially where this does rank for them, you know, we can always attempt to use like SEMrush or Google Search Console to see. So if we like go to their keywords and we're like, let's even say, like we'll just type in the title and see if there's even like a ranking at all. Let's say special needs. So what was this? Planning for children with special needs. So see, that's the article that's associated with this keyword. That's it.
Oh.
It's the only thing that's shown up. Special needs trust South Carolina is the only keyword that pops up with any association with this piece of content, and that's not even like related to it. So, you know, that's really a reason for that. That's why we don't really get too hung up on blogs. So yeah, going back to Excel, since we're a little bit more interested in stuff like the Asheville divorce lawyers and some more practice area things, just looking at like maybe collaborative divorce is actually something that could get additional traffic. So yeah, I mean, what happened, that actually is an issue, is that collaborative divorce sounds much more like a practice area. So if I go to like family law, and there's nothing for collaborative divorce. Collaborative law, yeah, so there is. So this is like, should be viewed more as like a practice area as opposed to just a blog. That would be an opportunity to like move it. So it's like, you know, if you see something that says like family law, collaborative divorce, it would be my assumption that that's family law is the practice area and collaborative divorce is granular practice area, but this is actually family law and it fell under a blog. So that's an issue. So this is like a blog, it should be a page, and then it should be, you know, optimized for either North or South Carolina. So that's like an actual opportunity there, because yeah, this falls under a blog instead of, so it should be under practice areas, family law, collaborative divorce, not blog family law, collaborative divorce. So that needs to be just moved and like recreated essentially. So like that to me would be like a worthwhile opportunity, you know, something like that. Their main divorce lawyer page not ranking or not ranking enough to get traffic is an issue. So this page evidently doesn't exist anymore. That's an issue. So we'd have to see. That's an issue because we don't know how many pages link to that now, because that's like a main page. And now I'm kind of concerned that there's broken links on the website.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's no North Carolina divorce lawyer page. That's tricky. So that there's not even like a dedicated page. So that content team hasn't even like done it yet. So it doesn't get traffic because there's like not even a page, which is a huge issue because that's like a very, very big opportunity is missing. I don't know what page would be associated with that the most. This is under a blog. Not so that's not good. So that's like we can't even do anything with that. That's just like the content team page. That should be on the website already. So those are other takeaways. It's not always, it's not always going to be like how to re-optimize. It's also going to be able to like convey these things to the AMs and then also content team. See, where did this come from? So that's what a link that I was expecting to be broken.
Yeah.
But then it's actually this. And then as far as navigating to that, I'm not even exactly sure how you do navigate to this page. And that's another issue. So I want to see like where this exists in Excel, how much traffic it gets. It's crap. I mean, it only gets three visitors a year because I don't even know if you can crawl it. I don't even know where you'd find this page.
Yeah.
I mean, we just kind of like stumble upon it. See, that's an issue. So there is a page, but then it's like, it gets so little traffic because I don't even know how to replicate how you find that. Like where, I don't know where this is besides it's just in the call to action for random pages. But meanwhile, it could be, oh, well, I guess it's randomly there, but then it's not even linked in the actual divorce section. Like it's not even linked in here.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the divorce section here, and it doesn't even say it. Like there is no link there. So like you could even, this could just be linked enough. But yeah, evidently it's here at the top, which is kind of a random. And then yeah, so that's what happens when there's just like a lot of pages and a lot of people working on this website over time.
Mm-hmm.
They forgot to put a dash here. I think that's a character that fills in for a space that's missing.
Yeah.
So if I do father's rights here, there's probably yeah, it's just a space. And any questions so far?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so you can kind of see like by going through this and why like main practice area pages that are really important get minimal traffic. There's typically a reason for it. Practice area, like for these pages, I mean, this should get some some traffic, but you can already tell like the optimization is ridiculous. Who's going to type in Social Security disability lawyer in Western North Carolina and upstate South Carolina? I didn't even know there was an upstate.
I had no idea.
There's no so this is like of course a perfect example of re-optimization. Like, so it's like, oh, clearly this needs to be re-optimized. That would help significantly. Let's see if there's any other practice, like we don't have to really worry about that one. Practice area is child custody lawyer. I mean, that's like a main practice area page. North Carolina child custody lawyer sounds pretty straightforward. It's just not optimized. Can't compete. And also, yeah, it's actually nowhere to be seen, which is unfortunate. And there is child custody right here. And I'm pretty sure that was the same. There's child custody. Yeah, there's a good amount of content on here. Yeah, it just doesn't perform well. One thing that I don't like love doing is including like the overarching keyword in this. So like it's optimized also partially for family law, and kind of want to keep the keywords like this like on their own respective page. It's an H2, that's fine. I would just say, you know, contact C's in North Carolina child custody lawyers instead of introducing another keyword. But yeah, clearly this one's this page doesn't perform well at all. I'd be a little bit curious to know why this page isn't even like in the top 50 though. That's interesting. Sometimes it could be because of plagiarism. It's better to use Copyscape in that instance. But yeah, it's this one, yeah, I'd probably want to look at a few other things because it's not like North Carolina child custody lawyers like hyper competitive.
Oh.
There's probably other things that are at play here. We can actually just put in this URL and see if it ranks for anything, which it doesn't. Huh, I wonder why it's so good. It's really far off. And it's indexed. Huh? I wonder why this does so poorly. Interesting. Yeah, let's just do a couple more. Well, do you want to look at it? Keep looking at this, or do you want to look at one more person?
Well, we can look at someone else.
Let's look at someone that doesn't have so much content. All right, let's do. What's another client you might be interested in?
I was doing blogs for Dolly.
Optimizing?
Just posting content.
Oh, posting? Okay, cool. Okay, let's see how they've been doing over the past year. Kind of hard to tell. I'd like to just do it before and after. Oh, that's a lot better. Oh, that's much, much better. That's cool. That's what I like to see. Yeah, to the homepage, that's fantastic. This one's down, but it's an attorney, so whatever. This is, I don't think these are probably blogs that we created for them, I'd say. We definitely created this in the past year because at zero the previous year. So you can see that our blogging has done a pretty good job. You can tell when things are blogs, typically when it's long tail. So like how much time you file, like that's a blog. Probably a blog. Not this is a page. This is a page, but we did a good job optimizing these, of course. So yeah, it's been a good campaign. We did FAQ. Yeah, everything's generally going in the right direction. So yeah, let's go back to, let's not compare. And then they have more manageable 253 pages that get traffic. We'll do the export. I feel like in this situation, there might be just opportunities just to remove content that's outdated.
Okay.
But we'll see. So again, we'll clean up a couple things. We don't really need this. I might look at some of the blogs just because, you know, it might be like we might not necessarily need, like this is more timely. And so some things are a little bit outdated, like some of these things that they're just talking about, you know, this isn't recent anymore, you know, recent, like when it starts talking about this, when it's like an old article. Sometimes it's actually just worth leaving it.
You say delete it or?
Yeah, like remove it or delete it. Yeah. I mean, this one, the only reason that this has not that much traffic is because this was not even, it wasn't written that long ago. One thing you also want to keep in mind is when things have like minimal traffic, sometimes they're just not, they haven't been posted that long in some
Right.
instances. But in other instances, you know, we can take a look at this one. So this is 2013. So this is something that probably isn't important. So in some instances, it's actually good to go through and start removing outdated content, because we don't necessarily want Google to continue to crawl, at least it's, you know, crawl budget, crawling all these older pages over and over again. We wanted to like encourage it to spend time crawling pages that are more important. So if this has a sitemap, one thing that we can do, I'll probably leave you with one last thing here. So we can look at the sitemap and we can see that there's clearly like a bunch of stuff. This is old as crap, right? Like, I mean, anything before 2019 is probably like worth revisiting and being like, you know, I wouldn't just remove it without, you know, telling the client necessarily, but it's just like, at what point do we really want to leave this on the website any longer? So what I would probably do in this instance is I want to kind of align really outdated content with the analytics that shows that they really just don't get any traffic for it. So what you can do is we can just take the XML. We can just clean this up real quick. It's not as crazy as it looks. Basically, I think that only these pages are like making it crazy. Trying to think if there's an easier way to do it. I've done it like that. Maybe I can just grab it actually just like this. Yeah, maybe it's easier. Let's see what happens when you do it like this. This will probably be easier. So we'll just remove all the hyperlinks. Oh, this is way easier. I don't know why I would do it another way. Whoops. Is that all one column? No. Oh, that's fine. So yeah, that's probably easy enough. What we can do is we can probably just see which ones align with low traffic and probably suggest that they just remove all of them, really. Yeah. So if we take these, just copy it, and then we put it, say, you know, these are all the articles on your website that are written before 2019. And is that freaking / really going to mess with the whole thing? Yeah. Always have to do something to make everything work. Where did this go? What happened? So 1 second, like it's always something new, is it, you know, or not new. What, I mean, I don't understand this. I don't know why it's freaking out about a / Okay, like I had to do it the weirdest way. Yeah, it'll be fun. Do you like Excel?
I like Google Sheets.
They're the same thing. But like do everything like the most, like, I'm sure there's other ways of doing this, but it's always like the most roundabout way of doing everything. Just to get a / in front of everything. All right. And then we can just highlight the cells again. And then, yeah, there you go. So, okay. Yeah, basically these are all all outdated pieces, like old pieces of content that may or may not still get traffic, basically. So it's like, if people still get traffic there, whatever, maybe a few of these, if they trickle in, I guess that's not that big of a deal. But like there's a bunch. So I'd basically say like, hey, these are all, were created in 2019 and before. They're probably outdated, they don't get traffic, can remove it so we can like conserve crawlage on the website. And that'd be like a really good example of removing a bunch of outdated content. But having data to back it up. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that would be a good, a great example of content removal. And then again, I'm sure that there's a better way of doing this besides just copying and pasting. But yeah, I would just come to them and say like, I'd like to remove these articles because they all get one visitor a year. Frankly, a lot of those articles here, these ones here that aren't even highlighted, they might even get 0 visitors a year. So the last thing to kind of keep in mind as far as analytics is concerned is that it won't even show up on an analytics report unless it gets traffic. So if it gets 0, then it might not even get any traffic for the year.
Okay.
So for example, let's grab this one. We go to analytics. And then let's go back to like historically like 2016. We'll see how far back this goes, hopefully pretty far. I don't know, we're just in there. Let's see. Why is this thing freaking out? All right, well, we might not want to even keep like almost any of them because they don't get traffic. So we know that, let's see, if this is indexed on the website, so we know this is on the website, right? Mm-hmm. We know that it's in the index, but if we actually search for it in analytics, over the past year, it hasn't got any traffic. So we might want to even just remove all of them. Yeah, because these ones here, they're not getting highlighted because they don't even get traffic whatsoever. I wish this would go back. I just have to make sure this can go back a little bit longer. Yeah, I can get analytics. Yeah, okay, let's see how far back we can go real quick. Okay, yeah, it's still going. No, it freaks out when I do 2016. All right. Okay, so if we grab like this one, let's see what happens. That never got traffic ever. I don't know if this is because it never got traffic or it's because analytics is bugging out. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. I'm trying to see if there's like any that got traffic years ago and hasn't gotten traffic in the past like year or two. I'd be really frustrated if I can't find one. Just give me one. There's no way that I'm not going to find one of these. Check to see if your car is on the list. This is really frustrating. All we need is one example to validate the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Like literally just one. Like how can, well, it's just, it's really bizarre to think that there's all this content that was created that never got traffic ever at any point. That doesn't seem very likely. That seems I don't know. I don't believe it. Did it switch over to keyword? Is that the reason? No. This is really frustrating. Let's just we'll do 3 more, and then if we don't get anything, that'll be it. Oh my gosh, thank you, finally. All right, so that's what it is. It's old content that got barely any traffic a long time ago and literally never gotten traffic since. So you might be able to justify basically removing every single freaking article from 2019 and before, except for maybe like this, and like a few others, like 5.
Mhm.
Or repurpose them or redirect them, but remove them. And then what that'll do is it'll free up a bunch of crawl budget. And so crawlers aren't going through the website and just crawling it and constantly indexing pointless pages. Are you familiar with like kind of those concepts?
The crawl budget.
Yeah, just with like Google crawlers, and basically they're going through and spending time crawling every single page when frankly you don't want it always crawling every page, because there's pages that are obviously more important than others.
Yeah.
So, you know, if we have basically like coverage, you know, there's excluded by no index tag. Who indexed what? Oh, cats. Okay. Oh yeah, no indexing categories makes sense. There used to be like more direction on like crawlers, I guess. Let me see. That's all legacy stuff. Basically, coverages more or less tells you what the crawlers are doing.
Mhm.
There used to be a little bit more insight about like what pages are going to and how often things were crawled and what the crawlers were doing. There's other tools that do that anyway, but yeah, if there's 355 pages and we remove like 100 of them, then just 100 less pages that don't get traffic and don't provide good information that need to be crawled, basically.
Right.
And then more main pages can be focused on. So that's why we still want to remove things. All right.